Hey, Alex.
Hey, Nick.
So, guys, as we said before, we're recording these cold opens in the past, and our producer Brittany just told us to claim our space. Claim our space.
Because, I love Sasha. She's so great.
She is
but
great.
That conversation, it's. Well, sometimes I just need my friend Nick. Sometimes I just need to take it down, get back in my little bubble.
Yeah.
Hear those dulcet tones.
Yeah, what does it mean to come back to the space, come back to the ground? Because Sasha certainly claimed the space, almost drunkenly so.
And I'm glad she did.
I'm glad she did too.
I'm glad she can have that space. But as long as I get this little moment, and our audience gets this little moment before we dive back in, before we find out what our choices for the Chaos film is.
Now we're gonna so last episode, part 1, we didn't talk about movies at all. We just talked about everything else but movies. This one we do eventually talk about movies. So get your little notepads ready. So, for those of you playing along at home, did you guys did we get them notepads?
If one person listening to this podcast has a notebook filled with what our choices are, I will consider this a rousing success.
If you are that person with the notepad, do you know what you get? Candy.
Stay away from our audience. Little justice, little justice, little justice.
That's the marker. That's what you come back to is hot dogs. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you come back, you'll be listening to hot dogs. For us, it's not going to. It's instantaneous. We're already in the new episode. Congratulations! It's episode part 2 of the Sasha's Chaos episode. But I just wanted to pause that because it's too long. We've gone on too long talking about meat.
Is it weird that I'm kind of hungry?
I want meat. I want meat.
Just talking about meat and hot dogs.
You gotta listen to the first part to understand.
Surprises.
Yeah, you got to go back. Go back to the first part. The cold open. We'll probably do a cold open that'll explain it.
A cold cut open.
Get everybody up to speed.
A deli. Alex, what was it?
I don't know how I would explain this conversation.
No, there's no explaining this. It's just pure chaos.
I don't know how I prepare somebody for a part 2 of this.
You don't. You just throw them in. Alex,
don't do that.
Wasn't there a deli that we used to go to in college? Or am I making this up? We went to Yum House, Yummy House. Chinese
Yummy
food.
House?
What, the Chinese food place?
Oh yeah, there was a Chinese food place on the
House.
corner. Yeah,
13th.
I don't remember what it was called.
Yum
it was like
House.
13th and B.
Yeah, 13th and B.
It was close enough that we ate there way too often.
So
sure.
Sasha, some background for you is when I was a senior in college, I went through the worst breakup of my life, and
man.
I was living. I had an apartment in Harlem at the time, but I did not want to go there, so I literally just lived rent free on Alex's couch. I'd say
for a while. There was 3 of us who actually lived there, and about 750 square feet within which to live.
Yep,
3 grown, college age men, and then Nick on the couch.
Man,
stayed there.
It was the best.
It was really good times. We
made think that was where Whiskeyland started.
That was where Whiskeyland started. Holy shit!
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but I'm an original contributor to Whiskeyland.
Alex actually wrote the song Whiskeyland. I'm not even joking.
Joke.
It's not a joke.
I wrote Whiskeyland. I have yet to receive my contract for the work. Nick has disputed over time. I wrote a lot more than that, and he's slowly trimmed it out. And this is the one piece of the show that he's tried to get rid of.
It's too good.
It's the core.
That song is
thing. So
he says I'm the contributor, aka I wrote the title.
AKA
song.
I wrote it. Well, 10 years later, more than that now. I think that's all I get.
That's all you get.
I pieced after 2 weeks.
You literally I'm not gonna do
this is hard to collaborate with you in this capacity. I'm gonna go do something else. So you can take my music and whatever. And then he worked on it for 10 years. I was like, you know what? There might be money here. So I did it, right? I'm a
guy. I did this. I did come back. It's so funny because Whiskeyland definitely was born there. A lot of things were born there. This podcast was born in that den of sin, that horrible place.
That's exactly what it was.
Smelled like feet.
just a wall of movie posters. Like it was the most college thing.
Yeah,
you could
any
ever
place
think of.
more than like 2.5 men exist is gonna smell like feet.
It's so true. It's actually really. When I remember. I don't know if I ever showered, Alex. I don't think I ever once. And I mean, because I would stay there. No,
yeah, I think you smell bad pretty consistently.
I smell pretty bad.
That sounds about right.
It was also, Sasha, this was also, so this was like a year out of college. I had gone on a bit, I didn't understand how to work out. I didn't understand what fitness was, Sasha. So I thought that you just drink muscle milk and that's all you got to do. So I just drank muscle milk. So I gained.
Yeah, I remember those guys.
Yeah, no, but I didn't work out, Sasha. I just drank muscle milk. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Got fat.
I just got fat.
I'm saying I remember those guys.
Great.
I remember the guys that just drank muscle milk. And I was like, I feel like this is part 1 of a several part series, but you're only doing
and listen,
that part.
If you are somebody who has who has a little extra weight on them and you are beautiful, there's no problem. But if you are somebody who's trying to gain muscle, do not just drink muscle milk and not work out. Don't do that. That's actually antithetical to the entire point and purpose of the drink. You know what I mean? Like, so it was just bad. I just drank muscle milk and I ate bagels. Do you know, like, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what.
Carbo loading, man.
Carbo loading, dude.
It's
adding
important.
mass. Adding mass.
Jesus.
Building mass.
Adding mass. I was building mass. I was building so much mass. I was like, Sasha, I was just trying to be like clay so I could be sculpted. So problematic. But no, it was a crazy time, and Alex was there for me. But in that we got the idea to talk about movies, and that is where this came from. We both love movies, and we both love this, and now, Sasha, we have shared chaos, so it was like, well, putting the two of them together, it's the chaos movie. So let's like attempt. Oh, my cat just farted. My cat just farted, y'all. God,
how's it
happening
smell?
Again?
Oh my God, it smells awful. Fuck
Ferris. Well, fill everybody in on what happened right before the episode started.
Ferris, okay, guys. So Ferris is in pure chaos mode. Ferris is so we are going to leave this apartment to go back to another apartment in New York soon. And Ferris is very excited. Yet, I mean, I think he senses it in the air. He pooped everywhere. When I say everywhere, I mean everywhere. Every corner. Like, I mean, what he'll do is like he'll be like whining and running around the house, and then when he feels that he doesn't have enough attention, like, you will all of a sudden you'll be doing your work or whatever, and then you'll be like, what the fuck is that smell? And you'll check the litter box and there's no poop in there, but it's just like little deposits of poop that he places in like the most inconvenient spots just to let you know how pissed he is at you. And then he will like have the audacity when you see him to like literally this is what he did. I was like, Ferris, what the fuck? He looks at me and he just walks into the bedroom. Like, truly,
he
just
knows what he did.
He knows precisely what he did. And Sarah tries to tell me he doesn't. This cat knows exactly what the fuck he did. But I love him. He's my little man, but he just farted in my face, so that's cool. So Ferris doing well. But movies. That's what we're here to talk about.
But movies.
Movies. Movies. We got to talk about movies. So today's theme in part 2, it should have been part 1, but we're going to part 2. Is the chaos movie. The chaos movie, and as such, we often, I find, on Little Justice leave our themes vague. Do you know what I mean? So that we can just kind of have an open-ended wherever it takes us. And chaos, I realized as we were prepping for this, very vague theme. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Very vague. It was a lot more difficult than I thought to find.
Super difficult.
I was like, oh, like chaos, like it's a broad word, like it's used a lot generally. It shouldn't be too hard to find, but no, it is.
Yeah,
I had to like look up the definition and try to apply the definition to like various things, and I don't know.
It's hard.
You did a deep dive.
Oh, I did a deep dive. Oh,
Sasha,
I take this very seriously.
Sasha, how do you feel that we use how is chaos defined on our show, The Chaos Twins? How do we define it on Chaos Twins?
It is undefined.
It is undefined. So we have not defined it.
No, chaos. What I will say though, chaos on The Chaos Twins comes from trying to hold just the funny and fun and light and life with the crazy and the dark and the depressing and truly terrifying of what it is to be human in this moment on Earth when Earth is ghetto. I want to leave. Have you guys heard that song?
I have.
Earth is ghetto. I want to leave.
There's an Instagram. I forget the actual handle of the artist who does this. She's a writer, songwriter, and she wrote this song.
Alia Sheffield.
Yes. Yep.
She
wrote this song, and it sort of coincided with the Capitol, with the insurrection at the Capitol. And the lyrics are, "Earth is ghetto. I want to leave. Can you beam me up? I'm out on the street." On the corner store, the one on 15th, got a bright shirt on. It's basically like this letter to whatever aliens may exist that I don't want to be here anymore.
Here I am. Come get me.
Come get me, please. You can't believe how people are treating each other. And I think that chaos for us is the ability to just sort of hold everything, hold the good and the bad, hold the hard and the easy, all together, and try to make sense of it, but also be okay with the fact that it probably won't make sense.
See, I love that definition. And actually, it makes me feel a lot better about my movie choice. That's a really good one.
It makes me feel It makes me feel terrible about my movie choice.
You don't like your movie choice now.
And that, you guys,
it makes me feel absolutely awful.
Your feelings about your movie choices, that is chaos. We're going to hold both of those things.
We're going to hold space for everything.
Chaos is, what, I love the idea too of like space, because chaos is also like, I think like it's like the Greek word like for universe and for like what space is, like chaos has its roots in that as well, of just like, there's some order, but then there's also no gravity. There's no, there's just a vacuum of, there's nothing but everything. It's it's
entropy.
Chaos.
Yeah. It's like what Jeff Goldblum gets into in Jurassic Park with the drop of water, right? Like, the smallest little changes can decide big things, and like that. Yeah, that's kind of chaos. The definition online, it's complete disorder and confusion, but related to physics. Behavior so unpredictable as to appear random, owing to great sensitivity to small changes in conditions.
I love that. That's it.
Yeah.
That's chaos.
That's it.
I will say, to dabble in the political, because I think everybody on this talk is very politically minded. I will say I have felt a lot less chaos in these days, especially like Sasha. We did our last Chaos Twins on the inauguration. In the 3 days since, watching how this administration has handled even the 3 days has been extremely comforting. Have you felt that? Have either of you felt that?
Oh, absolutely.
I have found it quite boring, which is incredibly comforting.
Feels great. Yeah.
I will tell you, I was watching Joe Biden give a speech from the Oval and talking about his plans and what was happening. And he started to go on and on and on. And I was just like, oh, I want to change the channel. And I was like, oh my God, what a luxury. What a luxurious feeling.
To say, we can just change. You're boring.
Yeah.
This is all boring. So good.
Like feeling secure that the adults in the room are going to do what they are supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Right? Not feeling like there's all this shifty stuff going on and like reality's not real. It's like, okay, like there are people with other people's interests in mind. And like, there's going to be stuff over the next 4 years that like comes out is bad. There's still money in politics and corporate interests and lobbying and all like that. That's hasn't gone anywhere, but just knowing that someone still wants to get up in front of the country and say, like, we're trying to help you.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, like, lying. Just that is a breath of fresh air.
It really is a lovely thing. I do love that. I love the amount of color that I see in the Senate. I love the amount of I just love and I love the people. There is a sense, especially with Joe Biden, who I know everybody gets on him. Yes, he is definitely our oldest president. We know that. We get it. But there is a sense of there's a sense of decency about this dude. Like he just seems like a decent person. He seems like a good guy. Like, that's fine.
And some respect for the office and respect for the people. And like you said, it is what it is. Like, there's going to be manipulation. There's going to be money. There's going to be politics. But I think, just the basics of this is truly what our democracy is built on. And there are limits to how far you can push it before it breaks.
Yes.
And that it actually is a lot more fragile than I think we like to think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, if like an old white guy is going to be at the head, right, is going to be in charge, the way he's surrounded himself, and the focus he's given to making sure he's allocating responsibility responsibly.
Yeah.
It's not just, it doesn't feel like Pelosi built the team, right? It feels like he heard everybody and what they're saying and built a coalition that is going to get things done. It's not everything like the more far left people want. It's not everything the moderates want. It's like a blanket, okay, we're going to all do this together and we're not going to keep anybody out. Like, the conversations will be had. And like, alone is great.
I hope we get to hear from him post his presidency. Obviously he's very, old, and we don't know like what we get, how much we get from him. But I think I really hope that we get to hear how he is approaching this, because he's talked about himself being a figure, a transitional figure, a transitional president, someone who's getting us out of where we have been and sort of to the next phase. And I think his choices illustrate that or are proof of that. And so I kind of wonder like what his thinking is about what that next phase looks like, how he is handing over responsibility, what he's creating space for, and how he really is going to execute his own role. Because it's such a change from the egocentric president we just had and the egocentric sort of administration and approach to governing. That this feels, again, like you said, it just feels a bit more aware that of his own impermanence, I would say. So I hope, I don't know how long, if it's one term, if it's 2 terms, I don't know what his plans are even. At some point you might be like, I don't know if I want to just like give my dying breath to like an office. I don't know like what how he sees it or what he sees his pace being. But I'm really interested in how he's approaching. And I think maybe, I don't know, with that reality of like, I won't be here forever. I won't be in this office forever. I won't be in this life forever. And what we do matters, and what we leave behind matters. Would be really interesting to hear from him.
Which is why, and this is, I don't know anything about what Joe Biden's plans are. This is all conjecture and just thinking about the way he's setting himself up just aesthetically. Mm-hmm. I'm not surprised if he is a one term, like just by choice. I'm not surprised if he's like, yo, Kamala, go for it. Like I truly see a world where that happens, because it's like, I think he understands that. I don't think he's purporting, like, what I love about him is exactly like you say, Sasha, there's just somebody in the office who's just very honest, like very real about where he's at. And like, look, if he feels he's got the energy, to take it to 86, like, fuck, let's go. But at the same time, it's like knowing who he is.
I don't think that he originally wanted to run. That was never the plan. I think his whole time running was built on the sense that nobody else is going to be able to beat Trump, right? Like, you have to do this. It was like a sense of patriotic responsibility that he stepped forward and stuck with it. And I think that he's maintained that too. He hasn't gotten swept up in it. He's like built a team of like, okay, like, we're here now.
Yeah.
And let's do it. And knowing that he's not there to be Joe Biden, the president, right? He didn't want to be, he's been in that position. He's seen how it works. He's been up close and personal and had power. It doesn't feel at all like he did it for the office as a career politician. It feels like he did it for, I don't know, the country.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's just seems to be like a selflessness, and maybe just a bit removed from it enough to say like this, I'm not the center of this thing. That being president does not mean that you are the center of the universe and the center of our democracy. It means that you have a lot of responsibility to uphold it. And I feel like he just, hopefully can be very restorative, and, it's very, he's had such a long career, obviously, in the Senate and in government. So hopefully, restoration and of what the best of what it can be.
I will say, It has been a pleasure.
We still.
Still. It's been a pleasure to see Fauci Unleashed. Fauci Unleashed is my favorite thing.
He's so happy.
I've ever seen in my life. He literally
he's like a kid in a candy store.
He's like, oh God, thank God. You guys came.
Oh my God.
We're safe. We're safe.
Yeah, I think someone asked him, what is it like to have a White House that says we're going to be guided by science? And he said, it makes me go, hallelujah.
Yeah.
He literally, he was like, the one big difference between this administration is that, when we don't know the answer, we just say we don't know. Like, we don't guess. Like, we don't lie. I want to bring up,